Hello, Steve White, TrekBoy89 for Steve Arts 89. Just a little Star Trek news roundup. I've been a bit busy and I thought I was missing a bunch of Star Trek news. I was like, oh, I should have done a video on that, And then when I actually had a look, there actually isn't much happening. A few rumours that I thought was news, and that's about it, really. The first rumour was that Scott Bakula was going to be appearing as Captain Archer on Discovery, which made no sense because it's the 31st century. And I'm guessing the person who wrote it didn't know anything about Star Trek and didn't know Star Trek Discovery had moved into the 31st or 32nd century. Then the rumour was that he was going to be appearing on Strange New Worlds, and I thought, well, that kind of makes sense. If Pike apparently did 2 5-year missions. If this is the second 5-year mission, then I'm not sure why Archer would be there, because he's not getting a new commission. Because the assumption would be that Captain Archer was Admiral Archer or Commodore Archer or something, and he was basically like the little ceremony when they get the ship and some important person comes on and says, congratulations, here's your ship. I thought they'd be doing something like that. Now, that would have happened at the start of his first 5-year mission when he took over the ship from Captain April. And then I thought, well, maybe Scott Bakula isn't playing Captain Archer because he would be too old to even be in the post-TOS series, like 150 years difference or something. I thought, well, maybe they're having Captain Archer hand over the ship to Pike, which they could show in a flashback or something still. Maybe when he's taking on the second 5-year mission, he's thinking back to when he got the command in the first place. And they could have Scott Bakula, playing Captain April, which would be a nice touch, be a nod to Enterprise, acknowledgement for Scott Bakula, while showing a canon character that we've always wanted to see on screen, but we've never really outside of the animated series. So that could work if that's what they're doing, but that's just me guessing. It seems like a rumour at this point. What would make probably more sense is if they had Jolene Blalock appearing, because she could be old enough to be in that era. Now, the other rumour is, it's not so much a rumour, the other casting news is that Billy Campbell, the actor who famously was nearly Will Riker, which I wish he was because he's so much more attractive than Jonathan Frakes, no offence, but he was so hot as Okona. Although he hates that role. He apparently says he did a terrible job. It was bad script, bad dialogue, bad acting. He said Patrick Stewart tried to help him, but he was beyond redemption. And he's looking forward to redeeming the character because apparently he says in a podcast he's signed on to play Okona in Prodigy for Nickelodeon. But then he describes it as a comedy where he's basically competing for a woman with another Starfleet commander. And he says that there's legacy characters in the show and that's hilarious. Yet Kate Mulgrew, who's also appearing, she's been the only cast member officially announced, as Captain Picard, as Captain Janeway, has been saying it's a serious series. It's not a comedy. So I'm a little bit confused. Is he confused? Has he actually signed on to Lower Decks and thinks it's Prodigy, or has he seen Lower Decks and thinks that's Prodigy? Is he going to get on set and find out it's a serious role, or are they doing an odd comedic role episode and his role is in that? It's hard to tell, but he's definitely signed on to something. He just doesn't seem to know what it is. And he feels this will be the redemption where he can play the character better because he didn't like how he played the character the first time. I think he played the character perfectly fine. Terry Hatcher was a guest star on that episode, and he was hot, she was hot. I'm like, okay, he was like a grungy pirate, but he's still Billy Campbell. And I think it's okay. He can still be playing the role. He may have aged, but, men are allowed to age in our age of society. So he'd just be a bit of a bear now and probably just as hot. So, I don't know. I'm just a little bit worried that he's going to show up to set and think it's a comedy when it's not. I don't know. He just sounds a bit confused. Now, the other issues is starting dates. Now, apparently season 4 of Star Trek Discovery started filming in November. I'm not a fan of Discovery. I'm not going to bitch about it, but I'm just not a fan. I'm one of the people who was hoping it would end at the end of the second season when they went into the future and just leave it a mystery, which would have been more interesting and probably sparked more creativity than the third season did. With people speculating and writing fan fiction and different novels about what happened to, it could have been some great mystery. What happened to the Discovery far more interesting than what they actually did in the third season. But they're doing a fourth season, which is apparently going to be Michael Burnham just being captain, and how that's going to go without anyone to rein her in. I don't see how her crew is going to survive a whole season. But they started filming in November. I said I wouldn't bitch, and I just started to. Now, Picard was supposed to start in January, and then it was pushed till February. But finally, officially, I saw on trekmovie.com, it started filming on February 16. So Picard Season 2 is filming. I don't have very good hopes for that. A bunch of renegades, a Picard android, vigilante 7 of 9 that's been abandoned by her Voyager family and now is resentful and murderous. A junkie. I don't know what the appeal to these characters are. Star Trek appeal to these characters. I don't know why I would want to watch this show. They're not going to be exploring space and discovering strange new worlds and exploring humanity and the optimistic future when they're all just a bunch of renegades just being negative and just be one long negative art story. I don't know why I'd want to watch that, but that started filming. And the only thing I have any hope for is Star Trek Strange New Worlds. It started filming yesterday, February 18. Now, there was talk about it the day before that it was going to start filming because Ethan Peck was posting pictures on Instagram and Facebook and places of him in Canada. So obviously he was there because they're filming in Canada. Picard is filming in California, and Discovery and Strange New Worlds are both filming in Canada. And they're all filming in different studios, so they can all be filming at the same time. It doesn't matter. They're not using the same sets or anything, I don't think. Just wait a minute, wasn't Strange New Worlds using repainted sets from Discovery? How are they going to manage that? Okay. Sidetrack. But yeah, so apparently they're filming, and I am more optimistic about that show. I wish they would acknowledge formally that Discovery, Picard, Strange New Worlds are all taking part in the Prime universe, which is the universe created for the JJ movies where the alternate timeline is in. So there's two separations from the original Star Trek canon there. It's not just a different timeline in the same universe, it's a separate universe with a different timeline that the films take part in. And the Prime timeline, which is the rest of the universe, that's where Discovery, Picard and all that, they've acknowledged that in Discovery. They've actually stated this is the Prime timeline and refer to it as the Prime timeline from that episode on. And I'm almost okay with them having a separate universe, as long as they're distinguishing it between the other Star Trek universe. I'm not as bothered. It was more so when they were trying to say this is Star Trek, this is the same universe, this is the same show, and you're wrong. That sort of bothered me more. So the idea that this show exists in this other universe bothers me less. And if this show does what the original Star Trek did, which is what they're promising optimistic exploration of an optimistic future. They're promising single stories. They're promising space exploration, not war, not mirror universe, not soap opera drama, and ongoing arcs. If they do this, if they actually deliver and we get an actual Star Trek show where each week you have the Enterprise going off to a different planet and having adventures which are positive and optimistic and make you feel like there's a future in the universe and in the world and there's somewhere to be, somewhere it's going to be better, then I can get on board. I'm not bothered by the fact it's in a different universe and the sets look different and the actors look different and the characters look different and the aliens look different. It doesn't bother me if it's a different universe. I'm happy with the multiverse, and everyone can have their own Star Trek show in their own universes, and they can also, when they sort out the copyrights finally, they still don't seem to be sorted due to the licenses from Paramount and Secret Hideout and Bad Robot. All that is still a bit of a mess. Once that's all sorted, they might even be able to do a legitimate Star Trek show in the original canon timeline as well as the Prime timelines. I don't see why they can't have them existing at the same time and make both fan bases happy. The original fans who never really accepted and got into Discovery, and the new fans who sort of were okay with Discovery because they weren't really in love with what made Star Trek unique in the first place. They were looking at it more as a general science fiction, and they didn't see any difference when discovering that happened. So I'm not opposed by that. I read the Gold Key comics when I was a kid. I read the DC comic books between the movies in the 80s where they didn't know what was happening, and the ships don't look right and the sets don't look right and engineering doesn't look right, and it was all just this weird little universe that you never knew what you were going to get. And there was a fun in that. There was a freedom in that. And I don't mind alternate universes and reboots and visual redesigns and stuff, so long as they're explained by the fact they're in a different universe, that they're not actually trying to say, well, that is that, when you know that's not that. When they say, well, this is the Enterprise from the original series, and you know it's not, it's insulting. It stops. You cannot suspend your disbelief and enjoy it because you're being slapped in the face with a lie. If they actually just make it an alternate universe, it doesn't bother me. So I wish they would just do that. I think they are scared they're going to lose Star Trek fans if they say this is a different universe, but they never got those fans. They never accepted it. They'd be better off just separating them, and I think it would go a lot easier, and they're just making it worse by holding on to this idea that, no, this is the same universe. These are the same characters from the same universe. No, they're not. We know that. Just let it go. But that's the news. That's the news for this week. I was expecting more. I couldn't find many articles. I couldn't find much. It just seemed to be a couple of light rumours and just the production starting up. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you know any news or anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. I hope Section 31 doesn't happen. It's the only show that's absolutely wrong and abhorrent and shouldn't be made. The other shows, like Strange New Worlds and that, as long as they do their job and all that, they can be Star Trek, so I'm not bothered by them. But Section 31 was never going to be a Star Trek show. It's the complete opposite. So hopefully that doesn't happen. The other ones, I've sort of made my peace with it, and I'm hopeful about Strange New Worlds, and I'm just going to wait and see. But I'm going to go. I'm actually going to go. Thanks. Bye.